Okay, so the time is 1:30. Let's make a start on this innovation masterclass for Artesian. So good afternoon. My name is Rob.
And my name is Rebecca.
And we are training consultants with Artesian, and we are going to be running this masterclass session for you today. It's all around innovation and how we can spot, use and share this great business innovation to help us every day. Now, before we get started going through all of the content we've got ready for you today, I just want to first of all go over a couple of different things we're going to be using to help us make this an interactive experience for you. First of all, a bit later on, we are going to be asking you a poll. This screen here will pop up for you, and it's a simple case of ticking and then pressing submit. You will also have available to you throughout the webinar the Q&A. With this, you can ask any questions about the content that we're covering in this session. We won't be answering those questions until right at the end of the session, so do bear with us, but please do fire anything in there if you have any questions as we go through. But let's make a start, and first of all, let's think about what business innovation is and why it matters. Before I do that, I would love everyone to have a little bit of interaction with us, and if you could raise your hand if you are aware of what business innovation is and why it matters so much as well. So you can see here, got you all here on the left-hand side, a few of you raising your hands, aware of what this means, so that's great. Don't worry if you don't know, we're here to help today. We're going to be going through all of that in this session. So great, we've got a few people there raising their hand, which is fantastic to see. Thank you so much. But let's actually explain to you, and we'll start off just with a bit of a description of what we believe it to be. So business innovation is when companies implement new processes, ideas, services or products with a goal of boosting the bottom line. But why does it matter to us? Rebecca?
Well, why it matters, Rob, is firstly, spotting innovation lets you get ahead of the game. So that way it will help you find new ways of working. Secondly, it helps you become a trusted advisor by making sure that you guys are the ones driving those conversations. It allows you as well to work more effectively in existing channels, and all of this will help you find new revenue and new opportunities as well. So I'm going to take it away now, and we're going to go on to the first section, which is spotting innovation and sector trends. So how exactly we can spot innovation. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my watch list that I created previously before the session. So what I've got here on the left-hand side is I've created the watch list to show you all of my companies that I feel share really good content about innovation on Artesian. So if you're also interested in having these companies and this list, I'm more than happy, as well as my colleague Rob here, to send those over to you after the session. So if you're interested, please let us know in the Q&A and we can drop that over to you later on, in case you want to be creative and also create one of these in your profile. So what this watch list is now doing for me is it's providing me with articles that could be of relevance. However, what I want to do from my news is I want to refine it down a little bit further. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our 5 engagement triggers now. And with these 5 engagement triggers, this is a way for us to filter down our news. And it might be the case that I'm going to click on to, let's say today, my risk trigger, and see any news articles talking about innovation and also how it can possibly be tackling key issues within my particular sector. But if you'd like to be a little bit more specific, so instead of using just triggers, you want to take a second look, we might want to jump over into our topic cloud. Now, another raise your hand exercise here, but can I just ask everyone to raise your hand if you regularly use topic cloud within Artesian to help you spot relevant news articles? How are we getting on, Rob?
Yeah, we've got a couple so far. So a couple of you are currently using the topic cloud, which is fantastic. If you're not at the moment, that's all right. We're going to talk you through the benefits in just a moment.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Perfect. Perfect. So this is our topic cloud that you can now see on our screen. So this is where you can match the most commonly found topics within your newsfeed. And essentially what it is the bigger the word, the more that word will then feature within your news. So again, let's say for an example, let's click on to IT within Topic Cloud, and we want to drill down into that specific topic. What you're then going to research is any news articles about that issue. Then for an example, let's pull that up on the screen. We've got our article here talking about...
Come in. There we go.
Perfect. We've got our example here of a really great news article talking about how IT is being featured. So we've got a really great news article there that you can take a quick read of as an example of how you can break down from creating a watch list, moving over to your triggers, having your topic filter as a second option, and then having a really great news piece to share with your customers.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. That's really interesting insight there about how we can use our watch lists to generate that really good innovation information. If you found that helpful, do raise your hand for me. That'd be really great to get us a good feel for how we're feeling about this so far. If that's already straight away been great. I've already, yeah, fantastic. Got Rebecca, I'd say over half already have raised their hands. So that's really great.
Amazing.
That what we've covered so far already is really resonating with everyone. But let's think about our second part. And if you remember, that was all around using the information. So far we've looked at how we can find it. And now let's think about how we can use it to our advantage. And we can do this through the concept of thought leadership. Now, thought leadership is something you may have heard of, but for those of you on the line today who haven't, just want to give you a bit of a description of what it is. So what is a thought leader? So a thought leader is a person who identifies trends, common themes and patterns within a particular industry or functional area of expertise to help others identify new opportunities or solutions for growth. The purpose behind thought leadership content goes beyond brand awareness. It aims to establish richer, more meaningful relationships with people that you're trying to reach. But why is it so important? First of all, did you know that 89% of decision makers say that thought leadership can be effective in enhancing their perceptions of an organization?
Yep, absolutely, Rob. I definitely would agree with that statistic. By posting about thought leadership, you're naturally going to be increasing the chances of an organisation forming a positive opinion on yourself. So it's definitely a great thing to be making sure that everyone is doing. The next statistic is talking about how 49% of decision makers say that thought leadership can be effective in influencing their purchase decisions. What do you think about that, Rob?
I think that is, again, it shows how important thought leadership actually is, because not only does it help to increase those perceptions of an organization, but also it's helping push those decision makers across that line to finalize that deal. The last stat we have there is that almost 1 in 2 of all decision makers spends 1 hour or more reading thought leadership per week.
Yep, definitely. That's a nice one to round off those 3 percentages. So as you can all see, it's showing just how key it is to be posting good content on a regular basis. And we can see that from this page.
Absolutely. So our final section is all around how we can then share that news with our connections, especially on LinkedIn, and how we can increase our credibility online by doing so. So I'm now going to take you through how I personally would share content from Artesian onto my LinkedIn profile. First of all, before I get started with that, I'm just going to talk over an article that I think would be quite good for me to share as a professional in the tech sector. So this is one I found all around dispelling popular myths about AI. I identified this through my Innovation Influencers watch list. To share this, as you may be aware, I just want to go ahead and click on that share on LinkedIn option that comes up. When I do this, I can then see I get an option to share directly on my LinkedIn profile. And I wanted to give you an example of how you might want to phrase this post, because One thing I like to really say here is that it's really important to comment on that post, just to draw your readers in to what you're trying to share. Try and keep it simple. Don't put too many words. I like to just have a hook to get them to click the link below. So here I've written really interesting read on some common myths when it comes to AI, and to take a look. That's going to draw people in to read that story. I've also included a couple of hashtags as well. Again, that's just there to help this article trend and get a conversation started. Our last raised hand of this session is all about whether or not you currently share content directly from Artesian onto LinkedIn. So if you do that at the moment, go ahead and raise your hand.
How are we getting on with those hands, Rob?
Yeah, good. Got a few going up already. Fantastic. Great. So I'm really pleased that so many of you currently share content directly from Artesian. If you don't already, I just want to remind you of the fantastic reasons why you might want to do this. Not only does that help you in terms of getting good content and thought leadership onto your LinkedIn profile to help boost your credibility, but by doing it directly through Artesian, remember, you can then track to see whether or not your connections are interested in what you're saying. As a reminder, to do that on your Artesian profile, you just want to click on that influence button you're going to see at the top of your screen on your main page. Now, just to give you a couple of other examples of kind of content you might want to share. First of all, you might not have thought of it, but posting content about your local area could really help boost yourself as a kind of a community leader. So I've found this article here about Reading, something happening in Reading, which, as some of you may know, is where Artesian is based. I've taken that and shared it onto my LinkedIn profile, and I've got some good generation from that. Alternatively, you might be thinking about sharing content that's relevant to sectors that you work heavily in, so your customer sectors. By sharing this, that's really helping to boost that credibility. For example, if I worked heavily within the pharmaceuticals and healthcare industries with my AI type business, by sharing this kind of post here, that's showing my potential customers and my existing clients just how much I know about what's affecting them at the moment in their industry and their world. So really good couple of ideas to have a think about there in terms of what kinds of articles to share. If you ever wanted to know more about how to use social media alongside Artesian, we run regular social media webinars with my colleague Rebecca on the phone here, and she will be able to take you through in an hour session a lot more detail of what you can do with the power of Artesian and social media.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've come to a part of the session today where we've actually gone out and asked some of our colleagues in Artesian what they think is the most innovative way to use Artesian. So we've gone and asked them. We've got a couple of our customer success managers, and you may see two very familiar faces as well when we go through this next section. We're going to run through these videos, and at the end, we're going to run a bit of a poll to find out which of those particular techniques is going to be the most useful for you going forwards. Let's kick things off with our customer success manager, Sophie Smith. And Sophie's going to be talking to us about the power of bookmarks.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a customer success manager here at Artesian. I use my news alerts to stay aware of what's going on within my customer base, but I like to use the bookmarks feature within that to save articles when I come across them. That means that it's really quick and easy for me to click into bookmarks along the top of Artesian, to select the customer that I'm particularly interested in and having a look at that moment, and to see all of the things that I've saved about that customer. Now, the Artesian news refreshes every 30 days. Obviously, there's a lot of news out there and it's always coming in. But the thing about bookmarks is that no matter how old they are, as long as you've bookmarked an article, it'll stay there. I like to use it as like a knowledge base to refer to so that I can remember what's been going on in a specific company, whether that be a CEO change, even if that was, 6-7 months ago, so that I can remember all of the details about what's been going on with that business before I pick up the phone and speak to them.
So I'm sure you agree that's an interesting way to think about bookmarks. if you've attended previous training sessions, you would have learned how we do like bookmarks, but seeing that from a real user perspective there from Sophie was really, really fascinating. Next up, you're going to see a very familiar face, and I'm going to talk to you a bit about how you can really get the most out of sectors. Sectors is a part of Artesian that can be really helpful. Not only can you go in there to find that news to help you in conversation with your clients and prospects, but you can also get those weekly email alerts that we send you with all the latest news that you're interested in. However, you may not know that you can actually add your own keywords into a search to find really tailored news. For example, you can put in your town or county to understand what's happening regionally, especially if you are a local specialist. You can then really show you know what's happening in your local community. How about looking for innovation and trends within a particular sector? Pop in those words and see what kind of content comes through that can help you with that thought leadership. So along the lines of what I was saying a bit earlier on with posting thought leadership, take it the extra level by putting those keywords into the box. You can really unearth some fantastic content to share. Our next speaker, again, is someone you have seen already today. So Rebecca's going to talk to you about something you may not have been aware of.
Did you know that you can have access to Artesian through your mobiles? Whether you're working on an iPhone or potentially an Android device, you can have access to the platform wherever you go. That way, as soon as you have your mobile to hand, you can access all of your watch lists, you can share content directly from your mobile and access the platform exactly the same as you would from a laptop or a computer. A really great tip about the Artesian mobile that I like to use is especially ahead of a meeting or a call. I can jump on my mobile, I can access a company page, and I can check out any latest news as well as any data or financials that I want to double check. The Artesian mobile is really powerful, and I can assure you that if you have the Artesian mobile, it will make sure that you're on top of your game at all times.
Great, thank you, Rebecca. So I'm sure you can see there from what Rebecca was saying how useful it is to be on Artesian on the go, especially once we come out the other side of this pandemic, when you are possibly out and about again, seeing clients and prospects in person. Having access to all the great knowledge you can get from Artesian in your pocket is going to really help you to stay on top of things wherever you are. Our final tip, I suppose, our final technique we're going to be looking at is from our principal customer success manager, Ashley. Ashley is going to talk to us about how he uses the buzzwords feature on Prospector. So take it away, Ashley.
Before working for Artesian, I was a client and a user of the Artesian platform. I always found the Prospector tool particularly powerful, especially the buzzwords filter. SIT codes were last updated in 2007. Even then, they were quite broad, meaning some of the more niche industries were hard to identify. Buzzword solves this issue, allowing you to target a company by what they actually do. One of the more innovative ways we use the Prospector tool allows us to identify warm leads. By typing the name of an existing client into buzzwords, we are able to identify companies that have a link to our existing clients, allowing us to ask for a referral or for an introduction. It was easy to book the first meeting with these clients, and we had a higher win rate when we were recommended, which resulted in increased sales.
So as you can see there from Ashley's comments, buzzwords is a really useful tool when you're looking for that new business. So those of you who are in a business development role on the call, if you haven't already, have a look at buzzwords, because like Ashley said there, you can either plug in your existing clients to find out if you have any connections there, or any other keywords that are going to help you identify that right prospect. So you've seen 4 different techniques there that you may not have known about before. It'd be really great for us to know which of those is going to be the most valuable to you, and if there are any there that you're going to take away with you going forwards. To do this, we're going to launch a quick poll, which you're going to see on the screen in just a moment. You have 4 options that we've just gone through there, and if you want to tick which one you think is going to be most relevant to you, and then once you've done that, we can have a talk about which ones have won. So I'm going to launch that now, and you should see that on your screen. Go ahead and vote, and once you've all voted, we'll then discuss how that's going to help us. So let's see, so far we're coming in. lots going for the sector news option, which is fantastic. So we've got lots there. A few using the bookmarks, which is great. Fantastic. So we've got lots of you voting at the moment. Good stuff. Still a few more coming in. The sector news is still winning. That's the highest number coming through.
Well done, Rob.
I didn't make it up. So that's all coming through. Fantastic. Good stuff. All right, so we've had about 70% or so of you who've answered the poll. So thank you so much for doing that. And I can say from where we are now, the sector news has come out on top. So that's really great that we found something there that is going to be helpful for you going forwards. Closely followed by the bookmarks. So from what Sophie said earlier on, that did resonate with a few of you, which is really great to see. Buzzwords comes along next. So thank you to Ashley there, who had put that together for us to give us some really good advice. And still there, still with some votes, is the Artesian mobile. All that says to me is that a lot of you are already aware of the great power around the mobile and how it can help you. So that's really great to see. So I'm just going to end that poll now. And now will be a good opportunity for everyone as well, if you'd like to, as we are drawing to the end of our webinar. If you have any questions about what we have covered, now will be a fantastic opportunity for you to pop them into the Q&A for us. Then Rebecca and I can go through and answer those for you now. So if there's anything burning on your mind, it could be about what we've covered today, or it could be about something else completely that you wanted a bit of advice on. We're really happy to help you at the moment. So do go ahead and ask any questions that come through.
As well as anyone that also would like the registration numbers for the Innovation Influencers watch list. So please let us know and we'd be happy to get that sent over to you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would say as well, if you think of any companies that you yourself have found very helpful in finding that business innovation, do let us know as well, and we can definitely share that with the group. And if anyone else would also take kind of interest in that, that'd be fantastic. So Sally just asks, do you have a link for today's webinar that we can share with colleagues? Absolutely. So this has been recorded and it will be available on the Artesian Academy within due course, so within the next 24 hours or so. So do have a look, that will come through. So great question from Jamie. So what prospecting filters are powerful but often neglected? So that's a really good question. And the one I always think is extremely powerful is actually the group status. Group status, if you haven't seen it before, is where you can indicate which level of the corporate structure you're looking into. Often when I am searching for new business, I want to find decision makers. So I want to plug in the ultimate parents and independent. It's a really good way to refine your list down just a bit further to get that right list. Simon's asking for the list that Rebecca mentioned, so that's great. So I don't know if Rebecca, you wanted to reply to Simon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you very much. Someone anonymous has asked, do I have to use a template when sharing an article from Artesian? You do not have to use a template. So what you can do instead when you're sharing, instead of pressing the email option, you can actually press the copy link option, which you'll find on the far left of the interactions. That way you can pop that link into your own emails or your own posts on LinkedIn to help you. So thank you so much for that answer. That question, sorry, I gave the answer. Paul asks a yes to the list as well, Rebecca, if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting back to those people now.
Good stuff. Townsend says, thanks for the webinar. You're very welcome, Townsend. I'm glad that's been helpful for you. And they would also love to have that list as well, which is great. Really appreciate everyone there asking questions. We'll happily answer any more you may have. We're really happy to do so. And before we kind of start wrapping up on this afternoon's webinar, we will go through a couple of quick next steps as well for you. So do look out for those. So let's just move over to our final slide as you wrap up. Do continue to ask questions if you do have them.
Just had another question, Rob, here about any product update information as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Rebecca. So in terms of product updates, we had a few earlier on in our main launch. So we did see what is coming. In the recent's the wrong word, probably in the past couple of months, we've had a few things come in that have been really, really valuable. For example, we have started to include mortgages and charges data in your prospect search. This enables you, especially if you're working within the finance sector, to be able to see of any existing connections that you have with that client if you work for a bank. So that's a really fantastic tool we've got. We also do have lots of other features as well, such as buzzwords being put into the platform at all times. There are a few things coming up still as well that we're working on constantly, such as something that we're calling sales flags, which will help you find some really good information as well. So there's a few really good things that have come out in the recent couple of months, and they should really, really help you. If you have any other questions about anything regarding product updates, we'll be happy to give you an email afterwards to fill you in. Fantastic. So just to wrap us up, in terms of what's next, if you want to learn more about Artesian, perhaps you are brand new to the platform, we do host some public webinars on regular basis. You can access these, log into them on our website, and also through your Artesian profile via the Artesian Academy. Rebecca, I don't know if you want to just tell the users about the Artesian Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Artesian Academy, you can access on the Learn tab on the Artesian platform. That way you're going to have access to bite-sized exercises, e-learning modules, and even pre-recordings on all of our webinars, such as introductory sessions, social media, and Artesian Advanced as well. So please feel free to jump in the Artesian Academy and embed your learning from all of the sessions.
Fantastic. Got another question here. So previous director history came up in the main presentation. Is this now available? Absolutely. So I'd recommend, so I'm not sure who you are, but getting in touch with the customer success manager that works with your business. It's what we call a premium data extension, and they might be able to talk to you about that. So do reach out to your CSM or to your line manager if you aren't aware who they are, and they'll be able to talk to you about that. No problem at all. So I think we're at 3 minutes to, so I'm happy to start wrapping up on the webinar. We will hang on the line, of course, for a couple of minutes just to answer any further questions that you may have. But we really, really appreciate you coming along. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We do hope this has been valuable, and we hope you enjoyed your day as well, listening to Tim Peake. And we look forward to seeing you soon on one of our training webinars for Artesian. Thank you so much, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much, everyone.